Hello Inquisitors, this is a full update for my amp rod build for Warzone. With a great deal of help from my fellow psychers in TOG, I've updated the spec with the new dirty fighting meta. The clear speed is somewhere between 4 to 7 minutes depending on the map, and I'm not seeing it slow down for the next 100 levels or so. This should get a fix soon hopefully, but with optimal dispersion we didn't see a fix for a long time and we might have to wait 4 to 5 weeks still. That being said, this is the build that I'm running for Warzone currently, and I will keep running it until they fix this. Onto the build. We only change one perk, and with diversive tactics we start the abuse. The remaining perks are unchanged. Feel free to apply even more vulnerability with crit, but these picks still remain the largest damage amp for the rod. As for the skill tree, the majority is still unchanged. We still pick up a bit in the range tree, we fill out the entirety of the AoE tree, we pick up a single vulnerability from this tree and 2 runes here for our buffs to add some additional resist and most importantly move speed from their rune slots. Speed rune should be in every last one of your buff skills, and the resist rune should only be in your buffs on your secondary set. You only pick the crit strength nodes here, as crit has close to 0 value in this build. In support you pick up Invigorating Faith, which helps you sustain a ton, and it's also the reason why there are 2 slightly different builds. For now we're concentrating on the single player version. In the debuff tree you must pick up Castigation. Castigation is straight up broken with the new dirty fighting meta. This dirty fighting abuse is basically optimal dispersion 2.0. I sincerely hope they remove damage vulnerability from the list of debuffs that dirty fighting and warp rod affixes are using to calculate this damage amp. I'm once again slightly embarrassed for playing a psyker with all these broken skills in our repertoire. Enough about broken skills, onto the rest of the guide. As always, we take the right side of the movement tree to grab psychic prod and cerebral feedback. If you went with the radical path, 10% warp damage is worth the resist penalty. As our main issue, in single player at least, is not depleting our suppression bar, we pick up warp heat converter in the hit points tree. Lastly, for single player, you should pick up transferic phasing. I went over the interaction between warp heat and precognition in the last video, and it remains the same still. Learn to abuse this. That is all for the skill tree. As I mentioned, there's a slight variant in the multiplayer version, and I will elaborate on this in my meta co-op video. As for gear, it remains almost the same except 2 very important areas. You should roll away crit from all of your gear and either reroll that to crit strength or where applicable to amplified vulnerability effect. You can only roll vulnerability on eye implant, main implant, psychic focus and both of your warp rods. By far the most important though, you absolutely need 10% damage for each debuff on both of your warp rods. And for the very last part of this guide, all skills remain the same except you replace Divine Shot in your bell slot with Hemorrhage. This is very important and you should set up Hemorrhage with Enlarged Area, Enhanced Effect and Vulnerability. And one last thing, for the Warzone buffs, you want Assault Doctrine, Retribution Doctrine and Unrestricted Demolition Protocol for running single player. For all multiplayer, and if you find yourself overheating too much, you switch to Psychic Choir. Running with Psychic Choir does make it hard to do the Precognition Warp Bound and Empiric Phasing combo, so try to manage your warp heat. For multiplayer however, you should always run it. Summoning demons randomly is really annoying. That is it for this guide. How to play this and the multiplayer variant in the meta will be added in the co-op guide to the Warzones, which I will add soon. I leave you with some gameplay and a huge shout out to Talk, my cabal, and especially Dr. Mongoloid and Twitch. These guys spent more than 30 hours combined testing skill interactions and giving me great feedback on the build. As always, I hope you found this guide helpful and you're most welcome to contact me in-game or add your comments here should you have some questions or ideas for my amp rod build. Thank you for watching, I will catch you in-game.